A full report tonight on the debate here in the University of Central Florida in Orlando tonight between Jeb Bush and Bill McBride.
What's the fate of AT&T in Jacksonville? Tonight's city council meeting will decide.
It's our weekly look at daycare centers on the First Coast. I'm Mark Spain. Find out if your child's daycare is making the grade.
As a weak front sits over the First Coast, we'll see what it means for us tonight at 11.
Stay up with us for First Coast News at 11.
The daycare report card tonight at 11 on First Coast News.
Full report tonight on the debate here in the University of Central Florida in Orlando tonight between Jeb Bush and Bill McBride.
As a weak front sits over the First Coast, we'll see what it means for us tonight.
First Coast News 12 at 11 is next.
Now stay tuned for your local news. I'm Jane Pauley. For all of us at NBC News, good night.
Later on The Tonight Show, Jay socks it to mostly famous Kate Hudson, plus comic Elon Gold and tunes that'll get into your head from BB Mac. Your local news is next.
Breaking news, 3 people shot just yards from the entrance to the fair. Police released the latest madness from the sniper, a note that warns your children aren't safe. AT&T employees plead for their jobs and a final chance to win your vote.
Nice if life followed a 9-to-5 schedule. Since it doesn't, University of Florida physicians at Shands Jacksonville are here day in and day out saving life and defending it, welcoming life, and restoring the quality of living it. Using all the resources of an academic medical center, our centers of excellence are ready for life, when and as it happens. Shands Jacksonville. Why would you go anywhere else?
You're watching NBC 12. And First Coast News at 11 starts right now.
Tonight, the family of today's shooting victim grieves. Parents across the country react to a chilling discovery. The sniper may be after their children.
As a parent, it's very frightening because you just don't know what's next.
And breaking news right now on the First Coast, 3 people shot near the entrance to the fair. Welcome, I'm Mark Spain. Alan Janae will join us with a live report in just a moment.
And I'm Donna Hicken. Thanks for joining us. We start tonight, as Mark said, with breaking news.
That's right. Police are on the scene of a triple shooting on Albert Street near A. Philip Randolph. That's about 150 yards from the fair. First Coast News reporter Charlene Shirk joins us now. And Charlene, we understand it was a drive-by shooting.
Well, that would be correct, Mark. At this point, that's the information police are telling us. Let me show you where we are. We are on A. Philip Randolph. The fair is right down here. This is the northwest corner. In fact, this entire area, that entrance that you're looking at right now, was initially cordoned off after the shots were fired. Now, the shots were fired around 9:30. Let me walk you through what happened. An off-duty supervisor was sitting right here under the overpass by that 95 sign when he heard several gunshots being fired. Now, see down there by that detour sign? He actually even saw a flash of light. That's how close he was to the shooting. Now, police are telling us that 3 people were shot. 1 suffered minor injuries, 1 serious, 1 is in critical. All 3 were taken to a hospital. Now, we are told the details, Mark, you referenced a drive-by shooting. Witnesses told police that at least 1 person jumped out of a car and started firing at a group of people standing on the corner with a semi-automatic rifle. Now, that's just really at this point initial information about the weapon. More information obviously will follow. We are told at this point that they do not have any description of the car. They've got some conflicting information from witnesses, and at this point, no description of the suspects. Obviously, I asked with the several weeks of violence that we had regarding the Northwest shooting and the 3 people were killed, is there any connection at this point? We are being told that it is way too early to tell that, but they are continuing their investigation, obviously, and will bring us more information as they learn it. Reporting live from downtown Jacksonville, Charlene Shirk, First Coast News.
All right, Charlene, and we will continue to update you on this shooting throughout this newscast.
All right, now back to our top story, the latest on the Beltway sniper. Tonight, police are trying to talk publicly with the sniper. A new revelation today, the sniper could be targeting children. The Montgomery County Police Chief read a note today saying the sniper left at the scene of Saturday's shooting in Ashland. In the note, it said, quote, "Your children are not safe anywhere, anytime." The sniper's calling cards are deadly accuracy, military-style ammunition that breaks apart when it hits the body, and an ability to get away fast. The shooting this morning in Montgomery County, although not confirmed with ballistics, sources say they are looking at the same initial evidence. Police again sent a public message to the sniper, the fourth in 2 days. They say the method he picked to communicate with them does not work, and now they're asking him to try again. Montgomery County Police are trying to set up a system to maintain regular contact with the sniper.
It is important that we do this without anyone else getting hurt. Call us at the same number you used before to obtain the 800 number that you have requested.
The sniper wants to talk to police, but under his terms. Investigators say they've researched the option he provided, but it is technically impossible. Meanwhile, authorities released a chilling line from a letter left at one of the crime scenes.
Your children are not safe anywhere at any time.
That wording was part of a letter received at the Ponderosa restaurant over the weekend. Earlier today, 35-year-old Conrad Johnson, a county bus driver, was cleaning out his bus and finishing paperwork when he was shot in the abdomen around 6 in the morning. No witnesses saw a getaway vehicle, but that didn't stop police from immediately setting up roadblocks, heavily armed officers checking all cars and vans. We've learned the sniper demanded money and hinted there would be more attacks unless his demands were met. And Chief Moose said no one's safety is guaranteed.
We realize that the person or the people involved in this have shown a clear willingness and ability to kill people of all ages, all races, all genders, all professions.
Also tonight, France has alerted the U.S. about a French army deserter who is known as a marksman and is missing in North America. Stay with First Coast News for continuing coverage as police search for the sniper.
Tonight, Governor Jeb Bush is holding on to a narrow lead over his Democratic challenger, Bill McBride. With such a tight race, every vote will count. George Bush Sr. took the opportunity to rally for votes here on the First Coast today. And tonight, the Democrats held a rally of their own downtown. The McBride camp eagerly watched the debate on television. The debate for governor, as it was dubbed, wrapped up just a couple hours ago. This was the last chance for each candidate to make their mark. First Coast News anchor Alan Janae has more.
Good evening and welcome to the debate for governor.
With the focus of the state here in Orlando, the topics were at first driven by the D.C. sniper case. The question posed by moderator Tim Russert, would you support ballistic fingerprinting for weapons to help track down which gun a bullet came from? Jeb Bush said if it could work, but doesn't feel it's proven.
Better to have laws in the broadest sense that punish people that commit crimes and make sure that we protect people who are law-abiding citizens.
Yes, Tim, if it would help, and it was proven by law enforcement officials that we could find this killer, for instance, in the Maryland, Virginia, Washington, D.C. area, certainly.
Then it was on to Amendment 9, the ballot question on whether or not to add a provision to the state's constitution to lower class sizes. McBride is for it, Bush against, because he claims it will require more taxes.
One of the reasons why we've been able to spend more than my predecessor's first or second term is this fact that our economy has been growing. Tax increases of the magnitude necessary for this amendment would hurt.
For the last 3.5 years, you've had an opportunity to reduce class sizes. They haven't been reduced. My children are in public schools, and I know about this personally. The governor needs to support a reduction in class sizes.
Russert then asked both if they'd repudiate the comments of the Reverend Victor Curry of Miami, who said President Bush should be compared to Hitler.
Governor, really, you need to raise your game. You are not suggesting that those comments are anything I believe in, and you know better.
I'm not suggesting that.
No, but you just did.
No, I didn't.
And you also suggested.
I didn't.
Excuse me, Tim.
But Bill, a Washington Post reporter repeated exactly what he said to you, and you didn't take the chance to do it then. And then 2 days later, you didn't do it.
Afterwards, I asked Bill McBride about his message.
Was there enough discussion about education to suit your taste for talk?
Well, we could have talked about it a couple more hours. I mean, I think the governor is attempting to tell people that the public schools have been doing better during his administration. They haven't been, and he offers no solutions for the future.
I thought it was a good debate. I thought it was very good.
With the polls this close at this state, was there anything you really wanted to accomplish tonight that you felt you were able?
I wanted people to see that these promises are going to cost them higher taxes, and I think that was accomplished today.
All right, that was Alan Janae reporting. We have made it easy for you to track both candidates in the remaining weeks of the campaign. Just log on to our website and click on the icon for election 2002. Well, some of you are still drying out tonight after a sweep of thunderstorms on the west side.
First Coast News Chief Meteorologist Tim Deegan joins us now. And Tim, most of that over for the night, huh?
Indeed. We'll go to the Doppler and show you the nearest thunderstorm activity is now well offshore and headed away. So let's take a look at what's going to happen tomorrow. The front continues over the region with showers, at least widely scattered thunder showers along that front. We'll take that forecast toward the weekend in just a few minutes.
All right, Tim, thanks very much. Well, it's going to take more workers than first thought to overhaul the USS John F. Kennedy.
Checking top stories for you right now. First Coast News learned today Jacksonville-based Atlantic Marine is hiring at least 200 more people to work on the carrier. The Kennedy, which has been riddled with maintenance problems in the past, is in the middle of a 9-month overhaul.
The feds have been called in to investigate local mailbox bombs. It's new information about a story we first brought you last night. Police say the homemade bombs were put into mailboxes in Ware County. So far, no one has been hurt.
Well, this was it. The final night for you to air your views on the future of AT&T Cable in Jacksonville. The City Council held its last public hearing on the matter, only this time it wasn't all about bad customer service or paying fines. Tonight, Council heard from AT&T employees assuring the Council that customer service was improving.
But AT&T has put into place numerous customer service and quality assurance procedures to improve our service levels. Our employees are working hard to meet the expectations that you expect.
No one was coerced to be here. We care about this issue. We care about this company, and we're here because it's our opportunity to speak.
We get a lot of complaints from the citizens. However, I am interested in hearing the evidence on the AT&T side.
The City Council will hear evidence from AT&T November 1st that its service should not be revoked. The Council will also hear evidence from its own city attorney before making a final decision.
Well, according to One Health magazine, we are living in an unhealthy city. In fact, out of the 101 cities ranked, Jacksonville came in at 92, meaning they were only 9 worse off than we were. First Coast News reporter Kevin Kennedy joins us now. And Kevin, Jacksonville also had the highest rate for colon cancer.
Not the best news, Donna. Doctors will tell you there are certain risk factors associated with different types of cancer. Colon cancer is one of them. Part of the problem is simply being overweight. Working out like this can actually help lower your chances of getting colon cancer. The only problem, working out is often easier said than done.
For some, it's a way of life.
I think it's very important to stay healthy, not only for me, but, you know, for my children and my family.
But apparently not everyone living in Jacksonville feels the same way. In the November issue of Men's Health magazine, Jacksonville was given an F for overall fitness. The city was ranked 92nd out of 101 cities.
Definitely, Jacksonville could do better.
So why is Jacksonville out of shape?
Extra pickles and lettuce.
Here's a few hints.
Actually, I think the whole fast food thing has a lot to do with it, believe it or not.
A lot of people don't take care of themselves enough. They don't eat right and they don't work out.
Doctors will tell you working out or staying in shape is important for a number of reasons. Dr. Tim Woodward is with the Mayo Clinic.
If you're overweight, markedly overweight in particular, you have a higher incidence of not just getting colon cancer, but breast cancer, pancreatic cancer, esophageal cancer. Across the board, that's a risk factor.
No surprise then that Jacksonville tops all cities when it comes to colon cancer. And while this might not prevent cancer, it certainly won't hurt. Kevin Kennedy, First Coast News.
Well, to put things in perspective for you, the healthiest city, according to the magazine, is Honolulu, Hawaii. The unhealthiest, Atlanta, Georgia.
The gun labeled the Saturday Night Special is taking center stage in a Florida courtroom. Checking headlines covering America for you tonight. The wife of the Lake Worth Middle School teacher gunned down by a student is suing the maker of the Raven MP25. She says it should never have been sold. It's the same firearm 13-year-old Nathaniel Brazil stole from the home of a family friend and used to shoot and kill teacher Barry Grunow 2 years ago. Opening arguments are now out of the way. A new report concludes the Twin Towers did not collapse because of structural flaws. The engineers found that the fires and the overwhelming heat that spread through the towers made the collapse inevitable. The study was commissioned by the leaseholders of the World Trade Center site. And no one likes to wake up to see this in their backyard. Tonight, investigators are trying to figure out what caused the train collision that sent this locomotive into the backyard of a home in suburban Chicago. 2 people were hurt when 5 cars derailed, landing on their sides. Well, the way you watch television is about to change in a very big way. Now, NBC is merging with a major movie label.
Tomorrow morning, our airport will be dealing with temperatures near 70 and possibly some fog. In Denver, temperatures near 25 and some heavy snow. We'll take a look at the whole variety of conditions in just a few minutes.
And is your child's daycare making the grade? A new report is ahead.
Imagine what it's like to be a child abused or neglected. Imagine being taken from your home with nothing but the clothes you're wearing. Taken to a place you've never been before, your new home. For too many children, this is a reality, but you can help. Join First Coast News for Operation Suitcase and help us collect items like these for children in crisis. Just drop your donations off at any of these locations Saturday, October 26th, National Make a Difference Day, and show just how much you care.
This kitchen is open 24 hours a day. When my children's friends are hungry, they come and find me. And I always keep the pantry ready. Coming to Walmart Supercenter, you can get great prices. Their produce section is wonderful. It's fresh, it's crisp, it's colorful. You get great quality for less money. I can find any meat that I want. Pot roast, chuck roast, spiral ham is great. I always like to have something baked fresh for the family. I can get everything I need at my Supercenter. We all need to watch our pennies, and Walmart does that. This is where it all happens.
March 20th, 2002. John Mica votes for a federal budget that will lead to almost $845 billion in budget deficits. Deficits funded by taking money from the Social Security Trust. Wayne Hogan says that's wrong.
I will fight every attempt to gamble with Social Security, and I'll fight to protect Social Security for our seniors so that they have the respect and the dignity that they are entitled to with that basic retirement.
From us, for us. Wayne Hogan for Congress.
The first and only newscast on the First Coast being broadcast daily in digital TV. This is NBC 12, your First Coast News at 11. With Donna Hicken, Alan Janae, Dan Hicken Sports, and Tim Deegan with your First Coast weather.
And we are following some breaking news for you right now. Homicide investigators responded to a drive-by shooting near the fair downtown. At least 3 people have been shot. Police told First Coast News they don't think this has anything to do with the folks at the fair. We will bring you more information as soon as we get it in. It may be only fall, but there is a hint of winter in the air.
For the really determined, there is already enough snow to make some tracks in Wilmington, New York. Light snow was coming down today in Sioux City, Iowa. Not much accumulated on the ground just yet. And you can see blue skies now, but a tornado ripped through Corpus Christi with such force, peeled the metal right off this roof.
Nothing like that, but some strong thunderstorms rumbled through the area.
Indeed, we had some small hail on the west side, some wind gusts to about 50 miles per hour, but all of that is over. And as far as we know, nothing as far as significant damage. So what's going to happen into the future? Let's go to the Doppler and we'll show you what we have and what we don't have. As we mentioned a while ago, the nearest thunderstorm activity that is actually offshore, and although it is well offshore, the same front that has persistently been the productive force of showers and thunderstorms over the last couple of days sits about like this. Winds north of the front along the offshore waters running at about 15 to 20. So it is some northeast winds out there, but of course over land not all that much. Nonetheless, tomorrow this same area will be the region where showers and thunderstorms will develop probably a little farther south than they did today and yesterday. Let's expand the picture. There were some notations about showers and thunderstorms on the west side. That was basically in this area. Pretty much 295 was the perimeter of the heavier thunderstorms. They, of course, have come to an end. Let's put the Dopplers together around the nation, and this is what we have. There was mentioning of light snow over Iowa, and that has pressed as far to the south as Kansas. And in Denver right now, the temperature is 26 degrees. Some pretty significant snow on the way for this time of the year. So if you're flying into Denver tomorrow or you have a plane that's in some way connected to Denver, plan on at least some minor delays there. And this whole winter weather system, winter-like, which of course is very early, will be gathering steam and working off about it in this direction over the next several days. All the while, that thunderstorm complex over Texas is a sign of yet more moisture headed our way. For tomorrow, again, with the front in the area, we will have some showers affecting about 30% of us. Winds out of the northeast at 5 to 15. Higher winds north of town versus south of town. This is officially what I'm looking for. A high of 78. That's at the airport. 75 on the sand, but more like the upper 60s over the Georgia coast and the middle 80s south and southwest of town. So we will have a variety. The same thing with sea conditions, 3 to 5 feet, but higher seas north, lighter seas to the south. In the surf one, maybe some occasional 3-foot wind chop sets. Water temperature 78 degrees, and we'll have low tide later in the afternoon. Now through Thursday, there goes the front. Next wet weather system coming at us from the west. And again, no big changes in the overnight lows through the next 5 days. The best chance of widespread rain will be Thursday, with temperatures ranging from the 70s to the middle 80s. We'll take a closer look at that weekend weather in just a few minutes.
All right, Tim, thanks. Well, with hundreds and hundreds of daycares on the First Coast to choose from, how do you know which one is right for your little one?
First Coast News is trying to help. Every Tuesday night at 11, you'll see my daycare report. Tonight, a look at 3 centers.
We begin this week's daycare report in Ponte Vedra at Our Lady Star by the Sea and its Little Stars preschool.
Ow, I bumped my head.
The facility is licensed for 125 children, mainly 3 and 4-year-olds.
We are a developmentally appropriate program, so we're here and accommodate all children of all levels.
On our grading scale, Little Stars preschool scored 100. That's an A+.
Our next stop in Ponte Vedra was at the Red Schoolhouse. Here, the inspector found some problems with paperwork.
The inspector noted that there were several background screening issues. However, Linda Purcell, owner of the Red Schoolhouse, faxed First Coast News' statement. Purcell says the employee in question works at another Red Schoolhouse site and had just begun working part-time at the Ponte Vedra location. She says a copy of the complete and compliant file was placed at the school and faxed to DCF. Still, the Red Schoolhouse in Ponte Vedra scored an 80, or B- on our grading scale. Finally, a look at Bethlehem Lutheran's Daycare Center in Jacksonville Beach. Here, the inspector noted that the metal grating under a water fountain had decayed and posed a hazard to children.
We put this over it.
Oh, so was that hole there?
Yes, that hole was there,
okay.
and this was covering the hole.
The center's first aid kit also had an old bottle of syrup of Ipecac.
I will be purchasing some of that this week.
There were also a couple of background screening violations.
They're on file now.
But they weren't?
They were not, no.
Okay, why not?
It was something I wasn't aware that we needed.
On our grading scale, Bethlehem Lutheran scored a 78. That's a C+.
Bethlehem Lutheran was also voted favorite daycare facility in a recent newspaper poll at the beaches. If you'd like to check up on your child's daycare facility, log on to our website and click on the daycare report. First Coast News is watching out for you.
After 77 days and $13,000 in production, there is a final product still ahead. A closer look at a really big pair of shoes.
But first, the largest U.S. movie chain announces its new partnership with NBC. Find out what it means for you.
Words are your wheels to take you anywhere you feel.
7 years ago, I learned to read. It was hard, but it was the best decision in my life. If you know someone who can't read, phone 1-800-929-4458.
Your mind is an automobile.
And words are your wheels.
And words are your wheels.
The power of GMC.
Nothing from nothing beats nothing.
Nothing beats the power of zero down payment. Zero payments till January 2003 and 0% financing on every new GMC.
Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. You gotta have something.
Get any new GMC GMC with 0 down payment, 0 payments till January 2003, and 0% financing. Upgrade to professional grade. See the pros at your GMC dealers before it all ends October 31st.
Food safety labs are just one of many tools used in the fight to keep Florida's food supply safe from bioterrorists. We've added inspectors, raised safety standards, and increased security. And soon, high-tech mobile X-ray technology will be online.
I'm Charles Bronson, your Commissioner of Agriculture and Consumer Services. We protect consumers, promote agriculture, and fight to keep your food safe from would-be bioterrorists.
Bronson, promoting agriculture, protecting consumers.
It keeps getting worse. The class size amendment sounded great until we learned it could cost us billions. Allows unqualified teachers into the classroom, cuts school programs we thought were untouchable, and could lead to portables as far as the eye can see. So wrong, it's opposed by educators, parents and teachers, newspapers and community leaders, Democrats and Republicans, state after state. Say no to Amendment 9, because if it passes, how will we ever explain this to them?
Freedom should be accessible to everyone. That's why we're giving you 0% financing for 60 months on 2003 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Or choose a $2,500 cash allowance. And make no payments for 90 days. All with our 7-year or 70,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. But hurry, because while freedom will go on, 0% financing won't. Check one out today.
Well, it is must-see movie programming for NBC. NBC has just announced an exclusive partnership with Regal Entertainment Group. The two will develop original content to air on Regal's new in-theater digital network. This is the first of 3 to 4 partnerships Regal Cinemas plans to announce. Well, Filipino shoemakers have laced up what they hope will go down in the record books as the world's biggest pair of shoes.
That's right. The 18-foot long and 7-foot wide pair of men's shoes unveiled in Marikina, the shoe capital of the Philippines. I hope I said that right. The government hopes to boost the sagging shoe industry by bagging the world. That is a big pair of shoes.
Big shoe.
The shoes took 7 days and more than $13,000 to create. Wow. The University of Georgia will have to battle Kentucky this weekend without 3 of its offensive players.
Up next in sports, the coach's reaction to the multiple injuries.
Get 0% APR financing for 62 months with 0 down payment and 0 payments for 90 days on all 2003 Pontiacs at your local Pontiac dealer.
Sometimes life is really tough. You don't have to go it alone. If you've been a victim of medical malpractice, accident, or nursing home neglect, you need an attorney on your side, at your side. Every hour of every day for the last 45 years, we've pursued one goal: justice for our clients. At Woodadder & Associates, we'll stand by you, seeking the money you deserve.
Thanks to Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Florida, people had new reasons to smile today. One teacher found a new way to unwind. A grandfather paused to listen to the music, and an artist was reborn. Because on this day, our Blue Compliments program offered new choices, new alternatives, new reasons to smile. Which is why we're here. Blue Compliments, just one of many programs for many needs. From Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Florida.
Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. You gotta have something if you wanna be with me. I'm not trying to be your hero, 'cause that 0 is too low to see.
0 APR, 0 down payment, and 0 payments this year. See your local Chevy dealer today. Ends October 31st.
Lowe's, improving home improvement.
Today, your home is probably your best investment. So today, there's no better time to come to Lowe's for brand name appliances. Lowe's has 250 in stock. Take one home today or we'll deliver it tomorrow. We'll even haul your old one away for free. Use your Lowe's card and pay nothing for 6 months. And Lowe's has low prices every day, guaranteed. That's our promise. Lowe's, improving home improvement.
Now use your Lowe's card to buy any Energy Star washer and pay nothing for a whole year.
If you see news happening, dial pound FCN on your AT&T wireless or star FCN on your Singular wireless to connect with your First Coast news.
Georgia University.
The Dogs.
Yeah.
Got a tough game
Dogs
this
are
week.
hurting dogs.
Hurting dogs, but happy dogs. I'm very happy with their team so far. But it's a little but here. You got Fred Gibson, you got Musa, Matt Stinchcomb, all stars for the University of Georgia offense, all out for Saturday's game against Kentucky. Mark Richt says, hey, you just have to play on.
Lost a lot of production, a lot of firepower, and it got us on both ends. You know, you got Stinchcomb, who's a great run blocker and pass blocker, and then you got your running back, number one running back out, and then Gibson, who's done so well in the passing games.
Also Saturday, the Noles host Notre Dame. Irish undefeated so far this year, but double-digit underdogs against FSU.
I know with the athletes that they have, the coaching that they have, and the way they're playing, okay, they concern us in every aspect.
Notre Dame has already beaten Michigan, Air Force, Pittsburgh this season. A win over FSU would set them up for a title run. He was a 7th-round pick, and Tom Coughlin has picked a new direction to go. And Hayden Epstein released today. He was 5 of 9 on his field goals, and while he had 7 touchbacks, he had none in the last 3 games.
You certainly would like to think that you can make anything from the 40-yard line in and be very respectable outside of the 40-yard line. You don't usually line them up and have them kick those, the 50-some yard kicks. You're not going to put the ball in that position.
Jags will announce their new kicker tomorrow. Both Tim Cedar and Richie Cunningham, former Cowboys, worked out for Coughlin today. Around the NFL, the Bucs' Kosi Coleman arrested domestic violence. Dolphins' Ray Lucas sitting out of practice today, but the Dolphins are off this weekend. Steelers are not, though, and Jerome Bettis, Jeff Harding's their center, doubtful for their game at Baltimore on Sunday. Today, in front of family and friends, Jacksonville's best high school basketball player, Dorian Williams, a Rebald High, said it's FSU, and then told everyone why.
I've been wanting to put Florida on the map and let everybody know we had talent here. And it was going to be one school in Florida, and Florida State just seemed to be the lucky one.
Congratulations to Dorian. Curtis Strange lost it. Hal Sutton's job now to get it back. Sutton will be the U.S. captain of the Ryder Cup team in 2004 when the action returns to the United States. World Series going on right now, and it's all Angels, 9-4 in the 7th. Anaheim's banged out 11 hits. The good news for San Fran, I guess, Barry Bonds, 3 games, 3 home runs. He hit another one this evening. The offer is on the table for Sweet Lou. Piniella must now decide if he really wants to be at home in Tampa or closer to home in New York. The Devil Rays players at a charity golf tourney today are hopeful.
You know, when you talk to other guys that have played for him, I have a lot of friends that are on the Seattle team, and they just say that he's just an unbelievable manager, an unbelievable guy to play for. And, hopefully we get the opportunity here to have him on our bench.
And we wrap at Jack's Beach. Marlins Cardinals showdown. Senior T-ball pitcher Jay Prather with the grab right there. Throws to first to Bradney Dignan at 2 outs. Over to second to Andrew Othmar. And my goodness, we have a triple play. Out at Jack's Beach. The crowd went wild, and the Marlins go on to win this one 24-10.
Wow.
So that triple
That's a
play
lot of
was
scoring right
key
there.
In the ball game.
That's better than the World Series.
Better than.
That's
They
great
play
stuff.
for the love of the game.
Exactly.
That's right.
Love of the
Absolutely.
game.
All heart. Gotta love that. All right. Thanks.
All right.
Final look at your forecast right after the break. Stay with us.
Oh, that was a little bit.
Get down here fast. They got the silver one. Okay, bye.
Claim your Volkswagen. Now's the perfect time.
What's in a name? Well, I can tell you, if you ever call the law offices of Eddie Farah, you won't have to look very hard to find Eddie Farah. Speaking for myself and this entire law firm, all of our interests and energies go towards protecting the rights of the people of the First Coast. We care about this community because we live and work here just like you do. For more than 20 years, the law offices of Eddie Farah, Jacksonville lawyers for the people of Jacksonville.
Big spending Bill McBride. Every day he promises more spending. The total so far? $29 billion. How can McBride pay for all this spending? McBride says he'll raise your taxes. Will it be higher sales taxes? Higher property taxes? A new state income tax? Tell the truth, Bill. How can you pay for it? One thing's for sure, $29 billion in new McBride spending means billions in new McBride taxes.
Toys! The Walmart toy department. I see kids run down here and have all kinds of fun.
I love toys.
Everyone should play with toys.
Scotty Tour. Hot Wheels.
My personal favorite, the Brass collection. Have you seen her jacket?
No.
We got your lead pass. Little kid bikes, mountain bikes, bikes for people my size.
Rapunzel, Barbie.
I got a lot on my mind right now. Low prices. Wow, that's cool.
Closed captioning brought to you by JEA. Here's a bright idea. We recommend replacing incandescent bulbs with fluorescents. They last 10 times longer and use a lot less electricity.
Once again, we want to remind you that we are on the scene of some breaking news for you right now. Homicide investigators responding to a drive-by shooting near the fair downtown. At least 3 people have been shot. Police tell First Coast News they don't think this has anything to do with people at the fair. For the very latest, watch Good Morning Jacksonville Sunrise starting at 5 a.m.
All right. Things should be...
Big weekend, coming up. So we're going to look ahead right now. Rebalt's having their fall flower show. There's the Bubba Catfish Tourney, the Irish place St. Bobby, and then we're messing with Texas. There's your weekend weather outlook. We'll keep you updated through the week.
All right, Jim. Thanks. That's going to do it for us tonight. Have a good night, everybody.
Take care.
The Point, FirstCoastNews.com.
You're watching NBC, America's late night leader.
It's The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, featuring Kevin Eubanks and The Tonight Show Band. And me, I'm Ed Hall. Tonight, Jay welcomes Kate Hudson. From the new show In-Laws, comedian Alon Gold. The music of Baby Mac. And Dates from Hell.